Hey, I'm Sean,
Hi, and I'm Shannon.
and we're the host of Wifey and Baby Mama. Happy Thursday, family. And just like
Yes,
that, we're on episode 2 of season 4. Listen,
yes, we
before we
are.
get started tonight, Shannon and I want to say something that I reference on all my platforms all the time. Enjoy each and every day to the fullest. Time waits for no one. I mean, in the last week, we've lost some major icons in the music world.
Hmm.
Frankly Beverly, Tito Jackson today, Rich Homie Quan, one of the few new school artists that would make
Oh,
my husband attempt to cut a rug, and and an actual artist that I
oh,
can
get
listen
out of
to.
here. Oh no,
Yeah,
wait a minute, wait a minute. Stop. You like Rich Homie Quan?
he
Oh
loves Rich Homie
Lord.
Quan. I know it's so
Uh,
amazing, right? And and
yeah,
and
that's
one of the
amazing.
few new school we can listen to, Shannon, without getting a headache or my eardrums hurting. You know what I mean? Because you know how I feel
Yeah,
about the ear.
yeah.
Some of these artists of this era, like I can do without it. But anyways, we'll leave it right there. But yes, Shannon, he loved him, and he was
Yeah.
actually, he's like, what? And yeah, that's his man. So if we missed
Um,
anyone, with this last week or so since we've been back, please charge it to our heads and not our hearts. We're both
yeah,
lovers of
yeah.
music and people here at Wife and
Hmm.
Baby Mama. So we want to take
Right.
the time to send our deepest condolences, to the family
Yeah.
and the fans of these great artists. Shannon, you know I'm gonna sing,
Hmm.
don't you? You know I'm gonna sing.
Which
After
one you
the
gonna sing?
morning after. That's what
And I'm gonna
after the
sing.
night before.
And Imma sing, "Walked in 33rd near."
Hey, that's his
Ooh.
song. Ooh. Lord, we didn't do them no justice, but we love them. So
I know,
please forgive us.
exactly.
Ooh, 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 ooh. That was his jam. That's what
Ooh,
made him like
ooh, ooh,
latch on to.
ooh.
Oh man. So we seriously send our condolences, and
Oh.
we're sorry if we botched their songs, but just know that we love them.
Oh, yeah, 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 we love them. Not making fun at all, just
Not at all. That was our
yeah,
contribution. Hey,
yeah.
the Bible says make a joyful noise. That was our attempt, okay?
Mhm.
But I couldn't resist it. And we know we're sending, just you guys know, we're sending love and much light to their families. And their
Yeah,
music will live on as all the greats that have went on before them. All right.
right.
So we just want
Yep.
to give that little tribute to those guys. And stepping away from music, we're gonna head into tonight's topic, which is speak
Yeah.
my language. And no, we're not talking about
Ooh.
nationalities, family. No, we're talking about love. We
Love
made
language.
love language. We made several references to the importance of love languages, in other episodes. But tonight, we're highlighting the importance of learning and knowing how to read and hear from your other half and how important, words can be. You ready, Shannon?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
You ready to get into this thing? All right.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. When I've had conversation about this in the past or even talked, about it here on the show, most of the time we refer this topic as knowing what moves your partner, what actions they display that mean I love you because they have a hard time with affection, which is what, we kind of touched on last week.
Mhm.
Or I'll give you a
Mhm.
better example. When my husband does something crazy or we fight and I give him the silent treatment, he'll do something like bring me breakfast in bed or do the laundry for me for the
Mhm.
weekend. And not that he never does those things, but those are things in those moments I understand that's his I'm sorry, that's his language. Because after almost 29 years, I just know the man. But that's not what
Mhm.
this topic is. No, we are flipping it. Tonight, we're going to discuss speaking king and queen language, even when your partner is displaying peasant behavior.
Mm.
Now, y'all know, like most of our
Yes.
episodes, I like to say something funny now and keep y'all engaged. So don't misunderstand me. I didn't mean that in a derogatory or degrading way.
Right,
But
right.
don't let people talk or treat you crazy now. That's not what we're saying. But just like we have to teach people how to treat us by what we allow, it's the same for our
Mhm.
words. Baby mama, do you agree or care to
Oh,
elaborate on
yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree, and, in marriage, you really get to, practice what you preach or not.
Sure enough.
And a lot of times, of course, I fall short. Of course, I'm human, and my husband will fall short sometimes as well, even though, when we stood there saying those vows, you're
Mhm.
at the altar and everything is just all, ah, rosy and you're like, we're gonna stick to this. And then the first situation comes up and you're hurling all these insults at each other.
Right.
And when you're dating, a lot of times you're like, "Oh, that's it." But in marriage, you try to figure out ways to bring it back together. And sometimes I could be the one to, bend and say, "Okay, I was wrong," or and then other times I'm stubborn, and then vice versa. He's the one that won't bend, and then all of that rhetoric back and forth and um can get to be much. So when I look at couples, and I do have friends that when they say they don't argue, you have friends that say that and you're like, yeah, yeah, you're right, you're lying, you're lying. But then you have those friends when they say, no, we don't have that type of relationship, you can believe them. There's something
Right.
about the,
Demeanor.
their demeanor. Yeah, something about both
Mhm.
people. And I have really, really close friends that when they say they don't argue, yeah, they have disagreements. Not to say they don't
Right.
disagree, because that would be really foolish. But they say we don't have arguments.
Because those are
And
two separate words. Those are two
mm-hmm,
separate that is
yeah,
true. It's two separate
right.
things. So
Mm-hmm,
yeah, I get it.
yeah. Yeah, so being able to disagree and for that disagreement not to turn into a brawl or, when I say brawl, not physical brawl, but,
I get it.
just the
Oh, you
words
can
that we
have
can
word
throw at our
brawls, Shannon.
partners. Oh yeah.
That,
Oh my
and
gosh.
that's
You can
coming up
kill
later
people with your
on.
mouth. Yeah.
Coming up later on in the season. So we ain't gonna
Yes.
touch it. We ain't gonna sprinkle it too much, but
Yeah.
that's literally a whole episode
Mhm.
because it's true. It's
Mhm.
true. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I get it. And when you say brawl, word, you can get into a word brawl. And like I said, they can get more
Mhm.
violent sometimes than physical ones. And this
That's
topic
right.
is so personal to me and close to home for me, Shan, because this mouth, oh my God, this mouth has ended many relationships, romantic or otherwise. Like, and I'm not
Mhm.
even kidding you.
Mhm.
Like, child, listen.
Mhm.
And I'm not proud
Yeah.
of it, but I am proud of the
Right.
fact that I recognized it. But it didn't come from my
Mhm.
own understanding and wisdom. But
Yeah.
it's something I can
Yeah.
teach a class on, okay? Because I had to get beat over the head by our marriage counselors. Like, girl, you gotta stop. I'm like, I ain't stopping nothing because you don't talk to me like I don't play that. You can't
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
marriage, you gotta tap into that other side, And it changed my life, Shannon. Cause I used to be, you
Mhm.
got me messed up. When we first started going to them, I don't care what nobody say. Y'all could bring Jesus, one of his disciples, down here. You ain't gonna talk to me, Grace. And they was looking at me like, Jimmy, you might want to run. Something wrong with her. But
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
tell you, it can get live, baby. You hear me? You can get live with
Mhm.
this mouth. We can
Mhm.
get active. Talk to me crazy.
Yeah.
But Shannon, I had to learn
Yeah.
that that was a trick of the enemy. Seriously. And
Mhm.
that's why we chose to do this episode with you all tonight. Because after she and I discussed, words can kill a marriage quicker than cheating, quicker
Exactly.
than infidelity, quicker than bills.
Mhm.
Listen, you have to learn to even when they're talking crazy to you, someone has to call it. So that's what we're here tonight. And like
Right.
Shannon said, sometimes in her marriage it's her, sometimes it's the husband. I'm gonna pretty much say
Mhm.
90% of the time it's Jimmy because I'm stubborn. And baby, we can go off, we can play all day. We can play for 6 months and not talk. And it's crazy. So he
Mhm.
became the one that say, hey, like I said, do the laundry. Let's take a ride. And I'm gonna tell you, Shannon, he couldn't do that without me having a forgiving heart, though. So it still
Oh,
plays
yeah.
both parts.
Oh, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because he can be
Right.
as nice and as friendly as he want to, but if I'm just, mean and I'm dead stuck on my ways, then it's not going to work. So
Mhm.
either way, we have to learn to bend.
Yeah, we do. And one thing that kinda got me, or not kinda got me, it did get me, it's growing up with my mom and my stepfather. My stepfather was the one that was, the first stepfather. I've had a couple. So the first stepfather would, go crazy, and my mother was always cool, calm, and collected. So I always thought that was the way I should model my behavior. But then
Hmm.
as I got older, I realized, yeah, she was cool and calm, but her words were biting. My mother would
Mm.
not scream, she didn't yell, but what she could tear him down and say, the things that, later on in life, I realized I did the same. I modeled that same behavior. So just because I'm not yelling and flailing and, jumping up and down and doing all the cursing, I learned how to craft what I was
Mhm.
saying to be the most biting, the most hurtful, the most um, harmful things to get under my now my husband, but even when I was dating,
Mhm.
there were plenty of times where I was in situations where the boyfriend at the time, not my husband, but previous boyfriends would, literally attack me and I couldn't understand why. I'm like, why are you trying to choke me out? It's because I'm just sitting here all calm saying these things. And I'm thinking, you know, but the triggers you would set off in people,
Yes.
and I was intentionally doing it without knowing the reason why I was intentionally doing it because I was, modeling a behavior um, that can be just as disrespectful. So my point is to everyone listening is just because you're not yelling and cursing and, acting the fool, so to speak, you can
Your
be
words can still
just
be
as
harmful.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, very harmful and can cut someone to their core just because you're calm and collected and, saying these things that because it's more deliberate when you're calm. It's more you're going for the juggler, I think, more when you're calm. I prefer if my husband is yelling or whatever, than if he's very calm and saying slowly speaking and saying stuff. That's the stuff that gets to me more, and I realize, "Oh, Lord, I've done the same." So,
'Cause it's
that
that
king and
triggering
queen spirit.
behavior, and
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
just wanna touch on that before you continue, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, go
But that
ahead. Go
but
ahead.
that word, you said you were modeling behavior or pattern. That
Mhm.
is so important because that's how most of our relationships, that's how most generational
Yeah.
curses are
Yeah.
passed down, the modeling of behavior. We don't know if it's right or
Mhm.
wrong. We doing what we see. And sometimes we
Yep.
don't realize that it's wrong because this is what I see. And that
Yeah.
is so true, like you said, even with my ex-husband. And I didn't realize how bad my mouth was until we were divorced and he told my daughter. I don't understand how anyone could argue with your mother. He said that was the only reason, the only thing that I was grateful for when we divorced. I didn't have to suffer her mouth anymore. You know how
Oh,
bad that was?
wow.
That really hurt my
Wow.
feelings because he said she would cut me like like a knife. Like she said something personal.
Mhm.
She said such things that it cut me, to my core. And I'm like, in the moment, and I could say this, and I hope if he listens, he understands, but we're really good friends, so I know that he would. In the moment,
Mhm.
I saw him as weak because he didn't come back at me.
Yeah.
He didn't
Yeah.
go round for round and pound for pound with me. I mean, he weak, he can't deal with
Mhm.
me. The truth is the man was
Mhm.
so hurt, he didn't want to project that kind of hurt back onto me because he loved me.
Right.
And I
Oh.
had to think of that when they tell you don't bring baggage from other relationships to the next one, don't do things. Well, that's one thing I'm actually happy that I brought to this marriage because that helped me to stop doing that to Jimmy. Because
Mhm.
I realized that this husband, this is forever. I ain't doing this again. Now, this the third marriage, babe. I'm gonna get it right
Mhm.
or I'm out. It's like baseball. I ain't doing it
Right.
no more.
Right.
I don't have another chance at this. So I need to do it
Mhm.
right. And not that I can't I could probably get another man tomorrow. He can get another wife, but this is what I want. I don't want to
That's
go through
right.
that. This is what I'm
Yeah.
choosing. I'm planting my feet here, and this is where I draw the line. So I was able to say,
Mhm.
what did I do so wrong in that marriage? Because I tell y'all all the time, and I can't say it enough, that guy was a good husband. Not perfect. No one's
Oh.
perfect, but I know you guys know
Right,
what you're
right.
saying. And I don't
Mhm.
know my husband don't take any offense to that because we just was two hot head bowler, and so I thought I need this calm man because I'm a firecracker and then we gonna work. No, that didn't work because that's not what I needed. What I needed was to get my
Right.
life together. What I needed was to
Yeah.
watch my mouth and control my tone and be a lady. That's what I needed.
Mhm.
So staying in that
Yeah.
marriage would have probably just kept me under that same trigger, under that same, like you said, pattern, Shannon. And guess what?
Mhm.
The enemy keeps you at a certain level. If he can keep you in that bad zone, if he can keep you in that zone where you can't grow, then if you can't grow, you can't go to where you're supposed to be. So I'm so happy
Yeah.
that I was smart enough to get out of that.
Yeah, but I also recognize too, I know we say the enemy, but a lot of times the enemy is us. It's our own flesh
It
um
is.
that we have to control
But it's
and
our flesh,
master.
but and that's totally true, but it's also
Yeah.
generational stuff, like you said, Shannon. A lot of times
Yeah.
those are the
Yeah.
patterns that we saw. My mother gave men hell,
Mhm.
baby. And maybe I
Yeah.
subconsciously did it. I mean,
Mhm.
y'all gotta watch Broken Love. Y'all gonna see a little bit of Sally in there.
Oh
She
yeah.
was a force to reckon with, baby. So
Mhm.
that all, watching that, being so close to
Yeah.
it's your mom. You're gonna adapt some of that behavior. I had brothers that would say to me, my two brothers, I would never date any of my sisters. Y'all, boy, please, y'all hell.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
promise you,
Yeah.
both of them had
Yeah.
said that to me. I would never date any of my sisters. And you
Mhm.
know why that is? Because they watched us grow in that pattern, like you said, Shannon, in that language, and that we have those sharp
Yeah.
tongues. And guess
Yeah.
what? No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, when you talk about, your mother pattern and and then my stepmother was totally different from my mother. And, my stepmother was the screamer, the yeller, and I used to always compare the two and kind of brag on my mother. Oh, my mother, she never
She's such
yelled.
a
Oh, my
lady.
mother.
She's such a
She's
lady.
so peaceful. And I love my mom, and not, but she wasn't perfect because she could use her tongue in the way that, could slice and dice and, cut and do all these things. So neither one, mom or stepmom, was, the perfect models and how you should act and treat your husband like a king and therefore get a queen treatment from your husband. And my grandmother on my father's side, my dad's mother, she truly should have been treated like a queen because she was the sweetest woman. And I know people will say, "Oh, you don't know," but no, no, she was. She wasn't like my mom. She wasn't like my stepmom. She was sweet, but she did not get that queen treatment. And I felt for her, and to this day, I still feel for her, even though she's been gone a long time. I had
Hmm.
one of the sweetest grandmothers in the world where, you know, um, she was just a kind-hearted woman, and she would not ever go against my grandfather. And it wasn't like she was, submissive and afraid, because I remember one time she did kind of, go at him, not go at him, but there was a situation with another woman. And so my grandmother was trying to stand up for herself. And I was like, oh, okay, she does have a backbone. But in the day to day life, she wasn't that woman that, was constantly, you know, going against the grain. So she was truly trying to treat him like the king. And
That he
I wish
was.
she would have gotten the
And
true queen treatment.
I want to say something. I just heard you say it just triggered, a little thought when you said
Mhm.
so she could get the queen behavior. Now
Mhm.
I want to just clarify something. I know this is what you meant, but I just want to make clear to the audience. It doesn't mean get
Mhm.
walked over. That's not what we're saying.
That's right. Yep.
With me,
Yep.
that's what I bring that point because that's what I used to equate being quiet,
Mhm.
or that's what I used to equate being
Mhm.
submissive to. I promise you, you ain't about to do it to me. It's not
That's
about that
right.
all the time. It's not about us. This
Right,
episode,
right.
I need you guys to hear before we wrap up. I just want to make the point so clear
Mhm.
before we wrap up because this is really important in marriages and any committed relationships. It's not about being a rug or being walked on. It's about
Right.
saying to yourself, let me listen to hear. Sometimes, Shannon, that behavior, in
Mhm.
my case, I'm going to tell you, that behavior, like I displayed toward my ex husband, it didn't come from something he did to me. He didn't trigger me. It's coming from a
Mhm.
place in the past. And I was
That's right.
projecting, a lot of times, I was projecting somebody else's stuff onto him. Even
Yeah.
me and my mother's or me and my father's stuff onto him because I
Mhm.
created that shell. You ain't touching me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Nobody's going to hurt me again. So it can come from a lot of different places. It's not necessarily man and woman business when we're going at it. So it's so
Right.
important to hear. Even though Shannon, I talked crazy to Jimmy, it was so important for him to learn. she's not really talking to me. When Jimmy talked crazy to me, because oh, that's another episode. We talked about that. We're gonna get
Mm.
into it. We're gonna get
Oh
into it for
yeah, we
season
got to
4.
get into that one.
But I want you to understand something, Shannon. It's so important that even if they're coming at you like that, to sometimes just retreat. Because you got to
Mhm.
say to yourself, is it more important to be right or is it more important to maintain my relationship?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And it took me
So,
a while to learn that in my marriage. I mean, not that I have 29 years like you and Jimmy, but
oh, we don't have
with
29
Will,
straight. Trust.
I know,
You
I
know the
know, I
story.
know, I know.
We
Yeah,
have
we know the
29 years
story, and
of
hope.
getting to know each other, though. I know that's what you're saying. Wasn't in marriage,
Yeah,
honey.
yeah,
There
yeah,
was some
yeah.
love and war
And
going on.
exactly. And for Will and I, we just have the 7 years, but it took me those first 3 years to kind of understand when he said certain things. Oh, that's coming from somewhere way back from 1973.
Uh huh.
That
For
ain't
real.
current day. Yeah, yeah. So it took me a
It's a
minute.
fact. So, I hope you guys, I hope we got the gist of it. Again, we're not doctors. We're not going to hit the perfect mark every time. But
That's
we
right.
felt like these topics for season 4, like we explained in the Welcome Back episode, these are topics that we want to get into. Different things. We don't want to paint a picture. Oh, it's so great. Marriage is the best thing. Blended
Mhm.
families is it. No, we want to give we want to give you the real. So I hope we portrayed this topic of speaking language, the best that we could. Shan, do you have anything else you want to add to the title before we
Yeah.
wrap?
Yeah, just the one thing that I think we didn't really touch on is, or we touched on maybe a little bit, just making sure the examples that you're setting for your children, whether they're your
Mhm.
biological, your bonus kids, your, blended family kids, whatever they are. When you learn these things and you learn how to represent, just like I mentioned, I thought I grew up with the best, motto ever. Oh, no yelling, no screaming. My household is just great. No, it's still, you got to understand what comes out of your mouth in front of your children and recognize what kind of harm you can cause them. Um, and they will carry that with them and then emulate it. You know,
Absolutely.
you might be raising a mini me and you think that's all cute and it's not if you're not being not that, like Sean just said, no one's perfect and we cannot pretend to be, but we can do our best and then even
Absolutely.
apologize if we do flip out and something goes left. We can go back to our children and say, hey, look, I'm sorry, mommy lost it, and I will try to do
Mhm.
better. I will
That's
not,
a fact.
make this a thing that you see forever or ongoing because we do want healthy children, emotionally healthy children. And that's the only way to do it is to recognize our own demons and figure out how to pray through them and, exercise them out of our spirit and our lives.
Absolutely. All right, that's all you
All
got?
right. That's it.
All right. Well, I'll just piggyback off baby mama in the wrap up. I have so many people that I know that have no clue of the importance of languages in relationship, especially in blended families. You got to
Mhm.
certainly be extra careful, Shannon, in those areas because
Right.
how you talk to that man or that woman will sometimes rub off on those kids. And it sets a tone,
Yeah.
just like she just said. So please understand that. Even if it's not blended, even if it's natural parents, it's
Mhm.
just not blended. Kids tend to have their favorites. And if mom, like Shannon said, if I saw my mom, this she gonna be quiet, cool, and collected. I'm gonna go off quiet, calmly. It's still all it's all the same. It's all bad.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
kids definitely adapt behavior. So let's just try to be careful and show them what and careful in what we're showing. And if this is the partner you feel is meant for you, or that you want to spend the rest of your life with, you have the power to create the atmosphere that you desire. And it's all in your tongue.
Right. Yeah.
And it's all in your tongue. So that means responding with love, no reacting to emotions. I've learned this new thing. Count to 5 before you react, because it's certainly a
Mhm.
difference. Mine and my husband's entire relationship changed once I started speaking the language I wanted him to walk in instead of responding
Mhm.
to the language he was giving me. It's a difference. And I didn't respond
Right.
to his actions anymore, which was pride and ego. And I want to reiterate, we're not talking about disrespect here, disgraceful things that will bring shame to you or your marriage. We're not talking about that. I want to be real clear. I ain't
Mhm.
going for that, and I ain't finna
Right.
advise nobody else. Y'all deal with that how you
Right.
want to.
Right.
I keeps it 100. I ain't going for that. But if it's pride and ego, those are things that we can all get over. It was hard,
Mhm.
but it wasn't
Mhm.
impossible because look at me. It was simply me making a decision. And did I want to be right or did I want a
Mhm.
successful, healthy marriage?
That's right. That's
And that's the
right.
bottom line.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into our next segment.
All right, here we go.
So, as you've all learned from episode 1 in this season, we've changed our segments from audience invite to our sweet little lies. And tonight, reference comes to like last week, Shannon said, not a friend, an associate of mine that wrote and wanted to let us know about her sweet little lie that has came crashing down. This young lady paid her boyfriend's, clock me, boyfriend's rent for 1 year until her husband found out a
Ooh,
little over a year.
Lord,
Uh-huh.
Lord.
And once he found out, he left her promptly and quickly as he should have. And
Mm.
she went to the boyfriend saying, "Hey, we are free to be together now." He was like, "Blue, I don't want you. You were fun, honey. You were not a commitment."
Mm.
And hold on, Shannon. This is the best part. If you did it to your husband, you think I'm finna let you come do
Mhm.
it to me? I thought about waiting
Of
to
course.
exhale so we can train. We can be the same. I
Yeah.
can be in the same shoes. And that's all I could think about. And she was talking to me. I was like, huh? Because my mind go off real quick.
Ah,
But anyways,
yeah.
so her
Yeah.
sweet little lie is she just have to go around telling people that her marriage just came to an end and reconcilable differences
Mhm.
because you
Mhm.
feel too stupid and shame to tell somebody I got caught paying my boyfriend's rent. Cause lady, how old are you? Okay,
Right.
so not
Right.
judging. We're not judging. I'm just saying,
Not
y'all, please
judging.
watch what you do. Watch what you do. Because I'm telling you, it never ends well when you fool around with the
Mhm.
marriages, okay? God is not pleased. That's the
Yeah.
highest institution. That's the highest institution besides his church. The marriage is the highest
Mhm.
institution, and we have to honor that thing because I guarantee you, whatever done in the dark will come to the light. Now, don't let us discourage you from telling us because we want to talk about it. But I just said and done. And if anybody else paying their boyfriend rent, please stop. It ain't gonna end well.
No. Nope,
Ain't
it
gonna end
won't.
well. And that's my sweet little lie for this week.
All right. Love it. So, tell them how to write in more Sweet Little Lies.
Okay, yeah, because look, Shannon, I got so relaxed and taken aback, I just forgot. Okay, so if you have a sweet little lie that you'd like for us to share, please don't give us any name, honey, because I know she's shamed to death. But we don't even need a city or state. We just want the content, and if you want us to talk about it, now here's the thing: if you want us to elaborate, you want our advice, we'll be welcome to give it. We'll be
Yeah.
happy to give it to
Yeah.
you. Don't know if you'll like it. Now we keep it 100, but if you
Mhm.
want to share your sweet little lie, you can hit us up at wifeyandbabymama@gmail.com. And that's wifeyandbabymama@gmail.com. And we will read these on the Sweet Little Lies segment each and every Thursday for the season.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right, on to our final segment of the night, our new segment that we're calling The Fictional Family We Feel, Fire, or Forget. And tonight we're going to talk about the Evans from Good Times. And the couple is Florida and James. When you talk about king and queen behavior, this is a couple living in the ghetto, in the Chicago ghetto, raising three children in the worst of the worst, but they loved each other. It didn't matter how many jobs James lost, because he lost a lot of jobs. You know,
He did.
he was down and out so many times. And, as an adult watching it, sometimes, I'm looking at him like, dude, really? You know? But Florida never, there was so much love and respect between them. Even when they'd have their little bickering, it was never, anything to where there was disrespect in front of their children. It was always love. Um, and that which the kids in turn had so much respect for their mother and father. It's like that's what you want in real life. I know we're talking about a sitcom family, but the way that they portrayed their lives and their struggles still showed a strong family bond. And we'll never forget when James died, because he was a truck driver like my husband. And he ended up dying over the road in that famous, Florida scene where she was, damn, damn, damn. I know we're laughing, but it was
It
powerful.
was sad. It was sad
It
at the
was sad
moment
and
though.
powerful, losing him. But so this fictional family right here, the Evans, Florida and James, I'm definitely feeling them because of their king, queen. They spoke the right language to each other on a daily basis, no matter what situation they were in, no matter their hardships. Um, there was you could feel the love. And
And
so,
I agree with you, girlfriend. I think we're gonna feel them. I'm gonna feel them forever because those are the things. Those are the
yeah.
situations that make or break marriages, and they could have broken a
Mhm.
lot of times, but they stuck and stayed, man. And I love it. So I think
Mhm.
I'm gonna feel them tonight with you, girlfriend.
All right, two feels, two feels. All right. So that is all we have for tonight. And excuse me, once again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in and, you know, joining us each and every Thursday night as we talk about this thing called life. So until next week.
Love you all. Bye.
I'm wifey.